thorns in the streets of Makkah, the patience of the Prophet and the cruelty of Quraysh. This is one of the darkest symbols of enmity in Makkah. She was the woman who used to scatter thorns in the path of the Prophet Muhammad. In the streets of Makkah, hatred was openly declared. "O Muhammad, your truth will not succeed here. We spread thorns, not flowers." Whichever path the mercy to the worlds would take, she would sow seeds of hatred and hostility there. She thought she could stop the divine light with thorns, but she did not realize that thorns may block roads. They cannot block the decrees of Allah. This was the era when Abu Lahab and his wife, Jameel, were at the peak of their hostility. Makkah was intoxicated with wealth, power, and arrogance. It was in this very atmosphere that the first call of La Ilaha Illallah echoed. A truthful caller stood upon Mount Safa. The Quraysh were summoned. When they gathered, they all testified, "We have always found you truthful and trustworthy." The Prophet then said, "I warn you of a severe punishment from Allah. If you do not believe, his punishment will surely come upon you." Abu Lahab erupted in rage and shouted, "May you perish! Is this why you gathered us?" At that very moment, the decision descended from the heavens. Surah Al-Lahab was revealed, announcing the destruction of Abu Lahab and his wife. "Perish the hands of Abu Lahab, and perish he!" Even this divine warning did not soften them. Their hatred turned into madness. Jameel, the sister of Abu Sufyan, wore expensive jewelry, yet her heart was darker than night. At night she would gather thorns with her own hands and spread them on the paths the Prophet used for the Fajr prayer. One day, holding a stone, she rushed to the sacred mosque intending harm. The Prophet was sitting right there, yet Allah placed a veil over her eyes. She saw Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, but she could not see Muhammad. Soon after, the open proclamation of truth began, and with it started an unrelenting wave of persecution. The poor, the slaves, and the weak became the primary targets. Bilal radiallahu anhu was dragged across burning sand, a heavy stone placed on his chest. Yet his lips only uttered, "Ahad, Ahad, one." Sumayyah radiallahu anha was martyred with a spear. Ammar radiallahu anhu was beaten until unconsciousness. Zunairah radiallahu anha lost her eyesight due to torture, then regained it through the prayer of the Prophet. Inside the sacred mosque, while the Prophet was in prostration, the filth of a slaughtered camel was placed on his blessed shoulders. The Quraysh laughed mockingly. A young girl, Fatima radiallahu anha, with tears in her eyes, stepped forward and removed it.